welcome to Cox Softball Complex here on the campus of Central Methodist University. This is Rachel Moore, Assistant AD, Director of Athletic Communications here at Central. We've got your number 11 Central Methodist Eagles squaring off against the Pirates of Park University. And here's the pitch. Foul. 0-1 is your count. Alright, ladies and gents, apologies for the technical difficulties here with our audio. Hopefully you can hear me. As Lexi Schroeder takes a strike 0-1. We're at the bottom of the order. Top of the third of game 1. And she's going to send one foul. That's going to hit the top of the dugout. And your count moves to 0-2. And we're back at the top of the order. Correction, still at the bottom order. Number 17, Lexi Schrader. Three and 2 the count. And she's going to take ball 4. And now we head to the top of the order. Number 3, Macy Austin, second baseman.
Now batting the second baseman, number 3, Macy Austin.
And she's going to foul one off. And strike 2. 0-2 the count. One out here in the top of the third of game 1. Central and Park are scoreless. Cronin in the circle. And that's going to be high, ball 2. We're even. Strikeout. And she's going to get her hand on one, and that's going to get to Gorman in the outfield. And we've got 2 on, 1 out, with number 14, Danny Klein,
Number 14, Danny Quinn Klein,
coming up to bat. You good, Alan? Yep. Okay. You're welcome. That's not good, everyone. Someone's got to bring the umpire more softballs. He's only got 1 left. I'm going to go either fetch the other softballs, or someone's got to come from the dugout and get him some. Danny Klein up to bat, left fielder. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. And that's going to get fouled back on the left field line. And 1-2 your count. Again, everyone, apologies for the technical difficulties with the audio, but we should be back and ready to go. This is Rachel Moore, Assistant AD and Director of Athletic Communications here at Central. Cronin, here's the pitch. Just a bit low. And your count is 2-2, 1 out. Central looking to win its 13th consecutive ball game. They're currently 21-4, 13-1 in the conference. Here's the pitch, ground out to Kaiser. She's going to tag third for the automatic out, and just the casual 5-3 double play. And Cronin gets out of a jam. We head to the bottom of the third, Eagles up to bat. We are scoreless here at Cox Softball Complex. All right, we are back here at Cox Softball Complex here in beautiful Fayette, Missouri. Number 11 Central versus Park University in a Hart South Division matchup. Up to bat now, number 21, catcher Kaylee Parker. She's a 5'10" junior out of Liberty, Missouri. It's not very far from where I went to school. So she takes that one high. 1-0 is your count. And Solari gets the sign from her catcher. And that one looked good, but just a little bit low, so count moves to 2-0. And she gets her on that one. 2-1. Parker thought about it, but thought better. And she brings Solari to a 3-1 count. And Solari with the pitch. And that's ball 4, so Parker's going to take her base. We'll see if we get a courtesy runner for her.
Now batting the third baseman, number 3, Caitlin Kaiser.
And we don't, so Parker's going to stay there at first, and we're going to get number 3, Caitlin Kaiser. Kaiser, junior, 449 batting average, including 7 doubles, 5 walks, and 22 ribbies. And she's got 3 stolen bases. And our first pitch of the at-bat is a strike. And that ball's outside. And the count moves to 1-1. And y'all, if you're wondering why the center field camera is so shaky, it's because the wind here is absolutely going crazy. So. And Coach Reeder with a nice play over there at third. That's a foul ball, and our count moves to 1-2. So. But to be honest, I'm just glad we're getting to play some softball games because this spring schedule has been absolutely crazy with reschedules and rainouts. So wind isn't going to bother us. So we'll see how we do here in game 1. 1-2 the count. Kaiser gets a hold of one, and that is gone. See you later, Kaylin Kaiser. That's going to be her first home run of 2022, and she gives Central a 2-0 lead over Park. So now Central with a little bit of cushion. That's going to bring to the plate number 14, Kalena Oots. Oots, 5'10" sophomore out of Kansas City, Missouri. And she's going to get a hold of one, but that's going to go right to shortstop. And she's just going to get her by half a stride. And that's our first out of the inning. And
now batting the shortstop, number 16, Madison White.
We've got quite a selection of songs, huh? It's a good mix, though. I like it. Madison White up. She takes the first pitch for a strike. No 1 your count. Okay. Sorry, when I was double checking our scoreboard out in the outfield only had 1 run, but I swore we had 2, and we do. And she takes that one for ball, so 1 your count. And she's going to take a high ball. And White thought better of that, not going to swing. So 2 your count. White, your team leader in home runs. She's got 8 so far this year. She's got a .459 batting average. As she takes a swinging strike there. And we are back even at 2-2. .459 batting average. 34 hits, including 9 doubles. 23 ribbies. And 2 stolen bases. She's going to foul that one off, and we remain even at 2-2. And White's going to get a hold of one, and that is going to be just over the fence. And just like that, Central takes a 3-0 lead, and that's going to be White's team leading 9th home run of the year. And now the Eagle Bats are starting to get into rhythm.
Now batting the right fielder, number 8, Michaela Harcrow.
All right, coming up next, the 5'10" sophomore out of Mustang, Oklahoma is going to be number 8, Michaela Harcrow. And Solari's going to meet with her infield and their catcher to see if they can regroup. Central will do that to you. They'll come out, may not get runs in the first few innings, but then they'll start putting them up on the board, and they certainly have in this 3rd inning. Oh, yeah, go to the bottom. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Oh, sorry, go back. There you go. Bottom of the 3rd, game 1. New batter count should be cleared on the board. And Harker is going to take that first one for ball. And Harker's just going to get one past the shortstop there into left field. And she's going to get on for a single. And that's going to bring up 2-time first-team All-American Kelly Gorman to the plate.
Kelly Gorman.
Kelly Gorman, a year year ago first team all conference and the Hart Player of the Year. So she is a threat anytime she steps into the batter's box. So Solari's going to have her hands full with this one. And our count starts in favor of the Eagles. 1-0. Gorman's going to take that one for a strike. We're even at 1-1. And Gorman's, she's going to slip one in between first base and second. And we've got runners on first and second with just one out.
Now batting the designated player, number 6, Michaela Pinnell.
And Michaela Pinnell, she's a newcomer to this year's team, 5'6" freshman out of Kingdom City, Missouri. And she's going to take that one outside. 0-1's your count. And as I come back on, Michaela Pinnell is going to get hit by a pitch. So, tough spot, Solari. Bases loaded, one out. And that's going to bring up
Now batting the first baseman, number 24, Madison Love.
senior pitcher / first baseman Madison Love to the plate. Love, an NFCA NAI All-Region second team performer a year ago, along with being a Hart first team all-conference performer. She is lethal both in the circle and as a batter, so we'll see what she can do here. Bases loaded, one out. First pitch of the at-bat is going to be outside for a ball, ball 1. And outside again, count moves to 2-0. Here's the third pitch. And that's low, 3-0, and Solari's in danger of bringing in a run via a walk. Can't imagine Love's going to be swinging on this pitch, but we'll just see. And she gets a hold of one. That's going to get down in the gap. Harcrow comes around, as does Gorman. Pinnell's going to stay at third. And Love's got herself a 2 RBI double. So 2 more runs for Central. And not sure if we're going to make a pitching change here. It looks like we might. And Solari's day is done. So it looks like coming into pitch now is going to be number 8, junior Carmen Miller from Tacoma, Washington. So while she warms up, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Heart of America Athletic Conference Softball here on the Heart Conference Network. All right, we are back here. Carmen Miller going to try and get Park out of a little bit of a jam. Central leads Pirates 5-0 as Daly Garland takes that first pitch for a ball. And she's up in the count 1-0. And second pitch is for a ball. 2-0's your count. So you got Pinella at third, Love at second. Eagles with a 5-0 advantage, scoring 5 runs on 6 hits, no errors yet. And that ball's going to be inside. And Garland now leads the count 3-0. And here's the pitch. And that's 4 straight balls. Pinell was thinking about stealing home, but she thought otherwise and scampered on back to third base.
Now batting the catcher, number 21, Kaylee Parker.
And with the bases loaded once again, Kaylee Parker's going to come up to bat. See if she can pad this lead a little bit more. And here's the pitch from Miller. And that ball dribbles to the catcher. 1-0's your count. And that's going to be the first strike for Miller, as she brings the count even back at 1-1. And Parker's going to get a hold of one. This time it's going to be in the left gap between center and left field, and that's going to plate 2 more runners. And Central now with a 7-0 lead. So a double, a walk, and a double.
Now batting the third baseman, number 3, Caitlin Kaiser.
Number 3, Caitlin Kaiser now up to bat, and she's going to look to put a couple more runs up on the board. And the way that college softball works in the NAI is if you score 8 runs after 5 innings, that game is done. So, and as I say that, she's going to bloop one into shallow left field, and that's going to plate the 8th run of the inning as Garland comes across to score. And Central now holds an 8-0 lead. Runners on the corners. 1 out.
Now batting the center fielder, number 14, Kalena Oots.
And Kalena Oots now back up to the plate. Oots, that's going to be a high. 1-0's your count. See how our live stats are looking here. Miller with the pitch. That ball just on the outside corner. And Miller's going to bring that count back even to 1-1. And Oots tried to lay down, but that went foul, so that's going to be the second strike of the bat. I can't imagine she'll try to bunt again. Because if you bunt on the 3rd strike and it's foul, Alan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's an out. He said yes, so that's what we're going to go with. 1-2 your count. 1 out, runners on the corners. Central leads Park 8-0 here in the bottom of inning number 3. Oots 1 for 2 so far today. That one's about shoulder high, and Oots laughs and brushes that one off. She's going to go back and reset. And they've got Parker caught in a rundown. So Oots is going to reach. Oots is going to reach on a fielder's choice, and then we're going to have a throwing error, I believe, by the catcher.
Yep,
the catcher, and that's going to plate 2 more runs. So Oots reaches on a fielder's choice. Parker's going to score in an error, as is Kaiser.
Number 16, Madison.
So we're going to take another break here as we try to make sure we've got all that correctly entered. So Central leads Park 10-0. 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd, and we'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back. Just had to make sure we had that entered correctly into our system, as White has drawn a 3-0 count here. Looking to pad the lead even more. So 10 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Oots on 3rd, and Miller throws a strike, and count is now 3-1. And she's going to hit one far and wide, and hopefully that doesn't hit our ticket person or anyone's car. I'm sure it did, though. We'll check on our ticket person after the game, make sure she's good. And after all that, that's going to be a long strike, so your count moves to a full 3-2. And here's the pitch from Miller. And that's going to be a walk. So, runners once again on the corners. And that is going to bring.
Now batting number 8, the right fielder, Michaela Hartcrow.
Number 8, Michaela Hartcrow, and I'm pretty sure we have batted around in this inning. I believe we have, because I remember her from before. Hartcrow, 1 of 2 so far in today's game. Count moves to 2-1 on Hartcrow. And Park is in a spot. Could get a double play. See if they can get Hartcrow to ground into either second or short. Third base would work too. but she's gonna she's gonna drill one into the park dugout. Good thing they got fencing over there because that one was a rocket. And your count moves to 2-2, 1 out. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Low for ball 3. And full count. Harcrow, that's just going to be about 5-6 feet foul of the left field foul line. So count remains 3-2. And Miller, this is going to be her 20th pitch coming up overall. And here's the 3-2. Harcrow's going to foul it off once again, so we remain 3-2. Coming up for Central, they're going to travel not too far down the road. They're going to go to Springfield, Missouri to face Evangel in a rescheduled game. That's going to be Thursday, April 14th at 1 and 3, before returning for doubleheader against Clark and Mount Mercy. Harcrow, see if that one gets down, but that's right at the center fielder Schrader, and Park gets a much needed out with runners on the corners.
Now batting the left fielder, number 15, Kelly Gorman.
And that's going to bring number 15, Kelly Gorman, to the plate. She is 1 for 2 with 1 hit and 1 run scored as she takes that first pitch for a ball. And Miller with the 1-0 pitch. Count moves to 1-1. So if you guys are looking for some more home softball action, you're certainly going to get it here in the later weeks of April. So if I'm counting right, Central's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more doubleheaders. So if y'all are around, come out and see us, the number 11th ranked team in the nation. Get your bang for your buck because this is a really good softball team. Everyone's laughing at me, but it's true. So. And as I say that, Gorman hit one over the left field fence. Central's going to push its lead, if I can do my math right, 13-0. That might be 14-0. Nope, 13-0, so I'm correct. So Central 13 runs on 13 hits. And they've got complete control of this one. And with the score being the way that it is, I think Coach Reardon is going to make a couple switches in the lineup, which he is. So coming up to bat is going to be pinch hitter number 10, Abby Marshall. She's a 5'6" freshman out of Malta Bend, Missouri. And it says that she went to Marshall High School. I wonder if that's in Marshall, Missouri. And it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to bring Solari back in to pitch. So while she gets warmed up, we're going to take a break. Central with a 13-0 lead here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. You're listening to Hart Softball action here on the Hart Conference Network. back, folks. Abby Neely at the plate, 1-1 the count. She's going to hit her dribbler over to third. And Pappard's going to pick that one up and she's going to send that over to first. So, again, we're going to take another break. Central with a commanding 13-0 lead over Park here in Game 1. Once again, you're listening to Hart Conference Softball on the Hart Conference Network. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gents. Central with a 13-0 lead over Park here in the top of the fourth. Cronin still in for your Eagles. She's got an 0-2 count on Duncan, and just like that, it's a 1-2-3 at bat for Duncan, and there's one out in the inning.
Now batting the shortstop, number 1, Hallie McGee.
Through 3 complete innings of work, Keelan Cronin, no earned runs, 1 hit. She's got 3 Ks against 11 batters faced. So 48 total strikes, or 48 total pitches, 32 of those being strikes. So productive day for Cronin inside the circle. And here's the pitch. It's going to get fouled off. Freshman infielder Hallie McGee now up to the plate. Did he run out of softballs? Okay. And that ball low. Want to know your count. And count moves to 3-1. 1 out. So Central can hold Park off for a couple more innings. And that ball's going to get popped up to the backstop. Parker's there to catch it. And that's your second out of the inning.
Now batting the first baseman, number 23, Shelby Sanders.
Number 23, Shelby Sanders, now up to the plate. Shelby 0 of 1 so far in this game. And that first pitch is going to be for a strike. And she's going to foul that one off, so count moves to 0-2. And she's going to get a hold of one. That's going to get driven back into left field, and that is going to be gone. So Park gets on the board with a home run from Sanders. And they trim that lead to 13-1. Central still in a comfortable position. And Coach Lindsay Derry looks like she's going to come to the plate. See if they're making a switch, and I think they are so. Number 30, Alyssa Ramirez, is going to make that straight switch for number 13, Kaylee Day. So she's going to get her first action of the day. Thank you, good sir.
Your attention, please. Now batting number 30, Alyssa Ramirez.
Alyssa Ramirez, she's a senior infielder out of Kansas City, Missouri. And she takes that first one swinging off Cronin, and it is 0-1. And second pitch, swinging again, 0-2, and Cronin's making quick work of this inning. We'll see if she can get her on this next pitch. And third pitch, and she got her 3 straight pitches. It's the third out of the inning, so Park gets one back, but Central still in control. Eagles lead as we head to the bottom of the fourth of game 1, 13-1. Again, you're watching Hart Conference Softball here on the Hart Conference Network. All right, we're back at it. Taylor Dial, pinch hitting for the Eagles. She is a 5'11" senior first baseman out of Ozark, Missouri. Going to see her first action today. Came in as a pinch hitter for Love, and she's filling in at first base. And Solari back in the circle. And it's kind of hard to see what angle I've got, but I'm going to assume that was a ball, and I think it was. Want to know your count. You good? Okay. Want to know your count. Solari pitches. And you could hear the from up here said that was outside, which it was. 2 knows your count. So Central's got a couple more postponed doubleheaders that they're going to look to make up. Both of them, believe it or not, versus Mid-American Nazarene. So, MNU traditionally a pretty good program in softball. Lately it's been Grandview and Mount Mercy, and then Central's right there with them. So, Central's in a comfortable spot and in the driver's seat for a regular season conference championship as Dial takes that first strike, and the count moves to 3-1. Central had a big doubleheader sweep over Grandview on April 2nd by scores of 3-0 and 8-0. And Dial is going to drill that to first base, but Sanders just going to take that and step on the bag, and Park's got their first out. And we're going to have another pinch hitter. It's going to be number 1, Brianna Hollowell. Hollowell, 5'6" freshman out of St. Charles, Missouri. So she and Cronin didn't go to the same high school, but from the same area in St. Louis. So Coach Reardon getting some of his other players some action, which is good. And Coach Reardon currently looking for win number 872, if you guys can believe it or not. Hollowell takes that first strike. So you have to imagine, if not late this season, early next season, Coach Reardon is going to be celebrating 900 career wins, all with Central, if you can believe it or not. So shout out to Coach Reardon and his staff for all that they do. Solari in the 1-1 count. Hollowell's going to foul that one back. And our count moves to 1-2. Solari's with the pitch. And the count moves to an even 2-2. And if you guys are sticking around this weekend, we've got senior weekend baseball for you as the Eagles are going to take on MNU. Hollowell with the strikeout, and that's the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring number 21, Kaylee Parker, to the plate. So Central Baseball, number 9 in the country. They've got a huge weekend series against Mid-America Nazarene. That's the team they knocked off in the conference tournament championship last year. And MNU always traditionally pretty good in baseball, so that'll be a big matchup. So if you guys are hanging around for Easter weekend, come on out and see us. Parker's going to take that first pitch for a strike, and it's 0-1. Sorry, that one's outside, I believe, and then the count moves to 1-1. Slaughter with the pitch. And got her looking on that one, so the count moves to 1-2. One to your count. Once again, Central leads Park 13-1 here in the bottom of the fourth of game 1. And that's going to get just past the third baseman, and we'll see if Parker tries to go for 2. And she's going to. She's going to get safely in there with a straight-up double. So Eagles back in scoring position with 2 outs. And we're going to have another pinch hitter. And this is going to be senior first baseman number 5, Macy Harrington. And we're going to have a pinch runner. I believe that's number 7, Chloe Clark. I don't have it on the program, but number 7, Chloe Clark. So it's safe to say for our statistician, we'll have a few changes we have to make in between innings, huh? Yes, we will.
Number 5, Macy Harrington.
All right, so Macy Harrington getting her first action of the day. Solari with the pitch. And she's going to send that first pitch right back up the middle. And Clark is going to scamper on home from second base. And Harrington with an RBI single is going to push Central's lead to 14-1 here in the bottom of the fourth. 2 outs over Park University.
Now batting the center fielder, number 14, Kalena Oots.
And Miss Kalena Oots. Let's see if I can find her on my stats. 1 for 3 today. She's going to take that first pitch for a ball. Eagles 14 runs on 11 hits, 1 error by Park. And Solari gets her on that one. Count moves to 1-1. Solari with the pitch. Did she swing on that? I don't think. Thank you, Marina. 1-2 your count. Solari looking to get parked to the top of the 5th. And sharply hit, but right to Pappert at 3rd. So Central gets one more, pushes their lead to 14-1. We're going to see if Park can answer with some runs in the top of the 5th. Eagles lead 14-1. You're watching Hart Conference softball here on the Hart Conference Network. All right, we're back here at Cox Softball Complex. Central with 2 quick outs. Abby Neely now in to pitch. Neely, a 5'4" sophomore out of Quincy, Illinois. 2 quick outs, but An error by Central's infield gives Park one runner. Neely, and this should do it. We'll see if it gets through. And they give her the out. So nice play. I believe that's Garland over there. As she's falling down, she flips that over to Dial at first base. So that's going to do it for game one. Central comes away with a convincing 14-1 win in 5 innings. Game two coming up in about 20-25 minutes. We'll see how quick we can get lineups, but we've got one more coming up for you. Again, Central takes game one over Park 14-1. We'll be back shortly. You're listening to Hart Conference Softball here on the Hart Conference Network.